What's up? Good morning, St. Louis. How y'all doing? It's me, Gabe, Avi. Autumn must be coming to you again with Who's Talks. We in my car, Silver. She give me around, give me, let me do what I gotta do and all that. But man, we in for it's raining today, so we kind of got some music playing, trying something a little new. But we talking about consciousness today, and what we gonna talk about, what we think consciousness is, and basically that's what it is, what we think consciousness is, and how we think it plays in our lives and how important it is. So, let's start it off. Who want to answer the question first?
I mean, for real, can we kick it off? What do you think consciousness is, Gabe?
I was gotta go to me. All right, okay. So,
let's start that off. Set the mood for us. What's consciousness?
So, consciousness to me is more like just being aware of, not being aware of yourself, being aware of what's around you, and being aware of what's going on in the world. That's kind of what consciousness is to me, is just being aware and having your eyes open and like seeking the truth, because there's a lot of things that aren't true out here in this world. So you got to really seek out what's true and what's not. And, you got to find out what's true by, looking at the facts. So,
Saying a lot, man.
Yeah. So that's really what consciousness is to me,
Okay.
That was really it. That was all I had to sum it up. But that's what consciousness is to me.
Okay. So, y'all know me. I like to be textbook. I like looking into the definition of things. Let me say it like that. Not necessarily. Yeah. Let me say it like that. I like to know the true meanings of certain words and things of that nature. So, I looked up conscious in itself. And the definition is the inner sense of what is right or wrong in one's conduct or motives, impelling one towards right acting. Another definition of it is the complex of ethical and moral principles that controls or inhibits the actions or thoughts of an individual. Now, I love both of those definitions for one of two reasons. Because at the end of the day, it is all about what you and yourself enact and put out into the world. And if you just out here senselessly thinking about what you're doing, of course, that is what you are putting out into the world. That doesn't necessarily mean that you, I guess, are conscious thought. I feel like everybody in here, every day when they wake up, at least tries to plan out their day. Yeah, am I wrong?
Yeah, at least in the head.
Yeah.
I feel like in the group, there's probably at least 1 or 3 people that go out into the world and feel like they ain't got to plan out their day. They're just going to go and give them whatever it takes. Does that make them conscious or unconscious? How would you answer that question?
Okay. I will answer that question with another question.
Okay.
En route of becoming conscious, do you find yourself or create the person you are trying to become? So, if I don't plan for my day, but yet still go get it,
Bless you.
am I now comes, the code of harmony, creating versus documenting. You see what I mean? I can create the day in my head, but I still have to go out and do it. You see what I mean? The documentation right there versus going out there getting the documentation and then creating the narrative behind it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't know if that answers your question.
I will reply by saying this, and then you still have to tell us what consciousness means to you.
Yeah.
But to close off me, I'll say this to say this: everything I do it with the purpose. There's not one moment I feel like I go out into the world and not know what I'm doing, because I feel like I am in control of my manifestation and my destiny. I don't allow my outside surroundings interfere with what I got going on in front of me. And that goes for also the people around me, because at the end of the day, I can still love somebody, but love them from a distance if they're going to interfere with my destiny.
Okay.
And I feel like that makes me conscious in myself, because I know what it is that I can do and who I am.
Okay. Okay. So, well, I would say consciousness to me would be, and for who is incorporated, is a certain level of awareness, or just having mindfulness about the things around you, your environment. Again, everything actually, and it's just having that certain level. So just because, like you said, just because you're conscious and try to plan out your day, you know what I mean? Or excuse me, if you plan out your day and the versus not planning your day and putting that to productivity, and they still go out and go get it. You know what I mean? So now that's the intro, like more so being like just having a certain type of awareness toward what it is you're doing, or mindfulness toward what it is you're doing. Because then Gabe, you talked about going toward the truth, and because there's a lot of lies out here, and that touch on just habits that you would have to pick up on. You know what I mean? Like, and that don't take anything but practice. So when we talk consciousness and trying to achieve that certain level of, mindfulness and being aware. So the question is, let me ask y'all this one. Do you find yourself, en route of becoming conscious? Do you find yourself or create the person you want to be? Which one?
I believe it's kind of both, because like I don't know if you ever heard of this guy called David Goggins. Yeah. So like I was listening to his story and how he was talking about how he got through what he went through. He was insecure. He had all of these issues within himself. And he said in order to get through that, he had to create somebody to get through that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He said he created an alter ego, Goggins. That was his alter ego who got him through, he said he went through 3 or 4 Navy SEAL Hell Weeks.
Yeah, crazy.
Boy. And like in the conditions that he was in. And it's like he had to create his own alter ego to get him through that pain and that suffering to become who he is today. Okay. So I believe that he had to create somebody he had to create somebody who was tough enough to dig deep inside himself to find out who he really could be, what his real potential is,
Because another thing that I've been trying to preach out into the people that I care about is that you are a reflection of what's in front of you. And I got that from you all, actually. I've been taking our teachings and been trying to give it to everybody else, because that is so true when you actually sit back and realize that in reality, everybody that you are around is a reflection of who you are deep down inside.
Yeah.
And even everything that you put out onto other people is who you really are trying to battle within yourself.
Yeah.
And I've been even touching to that with people that I've even some tough friendships that I have in my life to this day. I've been trying to get them through some skulls, because at the end of the day, you're only putting out something that you're fighting for yourself, from yourself, because you're scared of it, for your own self.
We are our worst enemy. Just like that movie Us, And not to interject.
No, go ahead.
But this is where I also touched on the tree of consciousness, where it's just a theory of everything is connected. You know what I mean? Where you got how you could break down where why trees are here. You know what I mean? Like, they give off the oxygen that provides us the breath to continue going with life. You know what I mean? To why like flies are here or mosquitoes to take away like diseases that we can't handle, this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? To see that everything has its purpose. Now you can start seeing or being quote unquote more aware or conscious that, you know, we should all live in a more harmonious way of living, you know. So this would be where, not to be like this what I feel what consciousness is, but just again having that certain level of, man, everything goes together and clicks, you know what I mean? This is where we can find harmony within ourselves, within our family, within everything.
Here's what makes it a little more complex though, because we're all not the same. So everybody's thinking is a little more different. So you have to put into context that this person next to us may not even feel that consciousness is the same definition as to how we are kind of coming to the similar agreements over here.
Right.
You know, because they live their life completely differently because we don't know.
Right.
You know, so we have to understand that consciousness comes in different forms and different levels and stages as well.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like it's just one textbook version. I don't feel like there's just conscious and then I feel like there are many different forms, just like there are many different frequencies.
There's levels to this.
Yeah.
You know, and so once you can bring that together, then you have what you call the conscious community, or the conscious groups, or you know, all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And then that's when it becomes a little more interesting, because that's when it almost becomes more or less of a judgment. You know, there's a little judge and jury when you become attached to things like that, because at that point they're expecting you to think and act and be a certain way. So how do you, this is my next question.
Okay.
How do you combat, I guess, the conscious community while trying to grow into your own consciousness while still trying to understand what's going on?
And I answer that with a metaphor. Just how does the tree grow when there is no human being to water and nurture it? You got to do it on its own. You see what I'm saying? You're going to have to fend for your own while trying to grow on your own. So with that being said, like when the conscious communities like would attack one another, you also have to keep in mind that, yeah, we are different. And I use this as another metaphor, like the rain, each droplet is different, but we're all water. We're all supposed to have things flow within us and then more. So when I say flow within us, just like everybody want to be happy. Everybody has a common goal, not necessarily what, you know what I mean? You're going to be arguing definitions of what happy is, but essentially everybody there is no one on earth walking around like, I want to be angry or miserable. You know what I mean? Even then, your misery would bring you happiness because that's something that you would want. You still have the urge to desire, is what I'm getting at. So, like, when we talk consciousness, it's, again, like we were saying, it's levels to it, and that's why we bring in you who is we want you to be aware of just what it is, just the idea of it. So yeah, you may be different, but the idea is what I bring to you, or what we bring to you. Be positive, act selfless, and understand positive and negative consequences. That's all. Plain and simple. Mm-hmm. You know.
I think on the road to becoming conscious, to get through those certain levels, you got to go through experience, you know. You got to get out and you got to do things that may be uncomfortable, but the experience brings you knowledge and wisdom out of it. You know, you're able to take something out of it, whether you're successful at it or you fail at it, and that in itself helps you become more conscious, you know. It's because, you know, your experience is your experience, so that's true to you.
Yes, most definitely.
You know? So can't nobody tell you that it's not true.
I was just about to say, can't nobody tell you what you did or didn't say or didn't do. Yeah. That's one of my number one things, especially when I know I ain't doing something. Don't tell me what I did or didn't do. At the end of the day, I'm going to make it known. And I'm going to stand on my own when it come down to it, and if I need to. I know that I'm still growing into this whole becoming who I am, because I've always known that I have a destiny that I'm going to fulfill. Period. And becoming into this new, I'm gonna say new lifestyle for me, because it is a new lifestyle for me, because it is almost like having an alter ego. You know, becoming conscious is not always common to our everyday surroundings. So that's why I say it's like a new lifestyle for me. That I guess that's my way of at least accepting it as an alter ego or something like that. Because it's something that I'm still learning and adjusting to. I have to adjust to that lifestyle, especially when I'm around people who are of it daily and have been about it and already sharing it with others and can break it down better than I know how even now, you know. So I can't say that you have to be at least open to other opinions without kind of shutting them down and being opposed to them. But with that being said, you don't have to take everything that's preached down to you, because some of it is more or less self-inflicted, and it may not be for you.
Yep. Also, yeah, with the experience, you gotta take in the mindset of somebody else who went through that experience. You know, they may have went through something that could have been beneficial for them with the wrong mindset and came out unsuccessful. And now that experience is true to them, but whether, you know, they're honest with themselves or not, they weren't in the right mindset to get a positive experience out of it, you know. So now they're gonna talk about it negatively to you. Let's say you're trying to go through the same thing, they're gonna talk about it negatively to you. Like, for example, being a landlord. Everybody says, oh man, it's terrible being a landlord. Everything about being a landlord is hard. You gotta wake up at 2-3 in the morning to fix toilets.
That's like, oh, landlords are terrible people. They'll never want to so they already got a bad rep to the community.
But then you got landlords who will say, oh man, being a landlord is the greatest thing on the planet. I'm making money, I don't have any issues, but they went into it with a different mindset and were able to come out successful versus the person who didn't go into it with the right mindset. Maybe thinking that something was going to be easy, or maybe thinking that they had to do it all on their own, or maybe just not having the right information going into the situation. They just, you know, they came out and they were like, you know, oh, this is bad for me. You shouldn't do this either. You know.
Okay.
But in all actuality, you know, if you listen to people who say you shouldn't do something,
most definitely you should.
Yeah, I'd say you should. You should do it.
Yeah, right.
Why should you though?
Like who said this? It was a quote that was just like that. I forgot who said it, but it's a quote that says, if everybody is telling you it's a bad idea, that means it's a good idea. Because most people are conditioned the way society has conditioned us, you know. We all came up in the same system. We all came up in the same, you know, types of schools. Our parents, not all of our parents, but most of our parents who were born here in America, they kind of think a similar way about certain things. And, you know, it's like the world is different from it is then. There are different opportunities.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't take their experience as, you know, if they had a negative experience, we shouldn't take that as, oh, well, you know, they had this going into it or this happened to them. Maybe I shouldn't do it. No, you should say, you know what, okay, this happened to him.
And take that into account.
Yeah, take that into account that this happened to him. This is possible. I'm still going to do what I'm going to go do, but going through it, I'm going to remember, all right, yeah, he told me this happened to him. Okay, I saw that. You know, I see that now. All right, let me not do what he did.
Most definitely. And
you know?
And that comes to the point of definite purpose, what makes consciousness alive. What I would say is definite purpose is just having clear vision of, like you said, I'm going to do this. Yeah, I'm going to take into account of what happened to you, this and the third, but if this is what I want to do, this is something that I'm going to have to do. You see what I'm saying? And then just more so now you just start seeing whose advice to take and what advice not to take. Because again, that's having, like you were saying, having clear definition of what it is that you want to do and the person that you want to be. You know what I mean? And now we can start implementing the second part of that conversation is, okay, if I give you this, which would be answering your wishes, answering your prayers, or whatever you may have, what are you gonna give me? You see what I'm saying? And this would be the committed idea that we tell ourselves that hold us back, that would create regret in our life. You know what I mean? And that's what Who Is attacks. We don't want you to have regret in your life, nor, feel that way. You want to be a better person. I challenge you to be a better person. Why? Because you want to be a better person. I know you. I know you want to be.
Right.
So,
like, a lot of people are out here. A lot of people out here alive, but they ain't living.
Say that.
You gotta live, like, and not just exist. Existing is just you going through the motions. You're doing what's comfortable for you. You're doing what's easy for you, what you know. If you want to live, you gotta go into the unknown. You gotta go into those things that, I don't know what's gonna happen to me. Sometimes you gotta go into it like, I might lose my life. But I know on the other side of this is prosperity. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you gotta be, if you want to live, you gotta be willing to die for something. You feel me?
Yeah.
And you can't be afraid of that. You can't be afraid to go out for what you want to live for. You feel me? And you gotta go for it. You gotta go for it every day. And it's gonna be uncomfortable. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna be painful. But that's how you grow.
Yeah.
That's what makes it beautiful. Because on the other side of that, on the other side of the grass, other side of the field or whatever, it's greener. It's greener once you put that blood and sweat and tears into it. But you got to put it into it.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna be you just gonna hop over and it's gonna be greener. Shit, it might be browner. It might just look green from your side and you thought you gonna hop over and everything is gonna be better. But now you come back, you like, oh man, this ain't what it was. This ain't what I thought it was. Because you didn't put anything into it. You just hop from one thing to another thinking that, oh, okay, it's gonna be better. It don't work like that. You gotta actually put in that work into yourself and to finding out, who you are, getting uncomfortable, getting in those positions that you've never been in before, that you don't know what might happen. You don't know what the result is going to be. And you got to say, all right, I'm going to conquer this, I'm going to win, and I'm going to get through it. And you're going to come out. More than likely you will come out because everything we think is bad probably ain't really that bad.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's just the mind. It's all of what we put into our mind.
Yeah. Law of attraction. Look, man. Hey, we can end it off right there. That's great. You know what? You're amazing, dude.
Thank you.
Just for everybody, if you're listening, hey, man, I'm Artemis Caldwell, founder and CEO of Who Is Incorporated. Y'all know these two. This is Gabe Coach. Man, and this is the beautiful, sensational Aviana Marie. Yeah, we out.
Live your life and don't be a victim of other people's self-inflictions.
Okay.
I ain't even had to preach today because he did it for me. So.
All right, we out.